Happy Easter. It's Resurrection Sunday. We are so excited to celebrate this with you, and on top of that, getting to be part of a baptism this morning. What an incredible day. And again, just to say this one more time, if you get a chance to meet Jen and Brian, you'll love them. And so make sure you say hello to them in the lobby. Today is a special day. I mean, every Sunday we do get to worship the King. We get to spend this time together, but we recognize what today represents, that was the moment that everything changed. And because of that, we want to celebrate today through everything that we do. It's why things are a little bit different on Easter Sunday, and it's why even right here on stage that I have these boxes over here to my left, and I know that's a little different than what you're used to. And we're going to make those part of the service this morning, but it's going to require something that I know you guys love so much, some participation. I know that makes everybody break out in a sweat, but I'm going to ask for a volunteer. Now, I do want to make sure you understand what I'm saying, because the 9:30 crowd was the exact same. Like, I said that and there was no reaction. It was just like dead quiet. Is my microphone working? Put your hand up if you can hear my voice. Look at all these volunteers. This is awesome. Man, it's the best thing ever to have this many volunteers. Actually, if you are willing to volunteer, I promise you nothing too embarrassing will happen. It's not completely nuts. But if you would be willing to come up, if you just put your hand up one more time and let me see. You know what? Right here in the white sweater. If you will make your way right over here. Everybody say clap. I just said everybody say clap. Everybody clap. And can you tell everybody your name? I know you don't have a microphone, but I'll repeat it.
I'm Lindsay.
This is Lindsay. Everybody say hi, Lindsay. Now everybody say thank you, Lindsay, for coming up on stage and not making one of us do it. Perfect. That was exactly what I thought it would be. So Lindsay, I do appreciate you being brave and making your way up here to volunteer. Just to give you guys a little bit of heads up, I did ask her beforehand if she would be willing to, and so she kindly accepted and said that she would. So she was a voluntold, is what that was. So. But I do appreciate you being a part of this. So on this table, you see these two packages that are here, these two containers. I don't want you to pick them up or anything, because you can't have a hint as to which one might be better or have something in it that you really desire with all of your heart. But I am going to allow you to choose one, and then I will let you open that one. So now look at them carefully. Again, you can't touch them, you can't shake them or anything, but which one, if you were choosing right this moment, which one would you choose? This one? Are you sure?
No.
You're not? Oh, you are?
I'm confident.
Okay, I was afraid you would pick that one, but you know what? I'm going to let you go ahead and, before you open it though, we do have a couple of disclaimers I need to clear up. Do you have any kind of allergies that could cause any kind of fit to happen? Okay. Are you at all afraid of snakes?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Oh, this is perfect. Oh, shoot. I feel so much better. All right, so you choose this white box here? Okay, go ahead and open that one, and then you'll show everybody what it is inside. What? It's empty? I'm so... That was awkwardly late, guys. Awkwardly late. Gosh, I am so sorry. That is such a bummer. I know that you're disappointed. We weren't going to do this, but I thought you would pick the other one, honestly. I really did. It just seems like a nicer package. But I'm going to break the rules. I'm going to let you go ahead and open that one as well. And this one, you do get to keep whatever's inside, so go ahead. Way better timing, fellas. Nothing? Oh, man, this is disappointing for me, too, because I know that everybody in this room believes that, knows that I'm such a wonderful, kind, loving, giving, wonderful person. Did I say wonderful already? Okay. And so that's disappointing to disappoint you and disappoint all of these fine, wonderful people. So I have one more thing. This was going to be for something different, but I feel so terrible that those are empty. I'm going to give you this one. This one does have something in it. Can you hear that shaking? There's something in there. I promise you it's not bad. It's something good. The only caveat, you can't open it yet. And when you're ready to open it, just this top slides off. So what I'm going to have you do, I'm going to have you take this, but you have to promise not to open it. It'll be towards the end of the message, so 2 hours and 15 minutes from now. You think I'm joking? No, I am joking. But at the end of the message, I will make it clear that it's time for you to open that. But then, and I do have one more thing for you to do at that moment. But I promise you it will be almost as easy as this, okay? All right, so would you all thank Lindsay for coming up, and then I'll holler at you when it's ready. So I know you all feel like that was so cruel and mean to have her come up here and open these empty packages. I get that, especially on Easter, right? I mean, we already said this was going to be a special service. We were doing stuff that we don't normally do, and everybody probably thought there was something really amazing, because those are really cool looking packages. Do you agree? Like, yeah, it looked like they would have something in it. We have this expectation when somebody puts this in front of us and we say choose, and we choose, yeah, okay, maybe one is not great, but the other one certainly is. And she opened them both and they were both empty. And I understand that there is a disappointment sometimes when our expectations are not met, when our expectations aren't fulfilled, when we have a rational reason to believe something and then it doesn't happen. It can be disappointing. But what if I told you that how we see these and how we expect them to be filled, what if I told you that that is just purely perception, and if we're willing to change our perception, disappointment goes away? So what if we chose to look at these containers that all of us now know are empty and say, well, she didn't get a valuable prize. She didn't get a present out of that. But did something good happen anyway? Because, I was joking, of course, like when I asked her, are you afraid of snakes? Of course, we wouldn't have put a poisonous snake in there, but had there been a poisonous snake in one of these, that could be instantaneous death. And so our perception is that we could say, well, at least I didn't get a poisonous snake. Gosh, it wouldn't even have to be poisonous necessarily for it to be a dangerous thing to give somebody. Like if I had my wife come up here and open one of these, and she opened it, and it was just a baby garter snake, there is a good chance she would die right here on stage from fright. It would be like a complete fright response. And even if she survived the shock of opening it, there would still be death that happened, because that poor snake would lose its life as she beat it to death. And then probably her husband as she beat me to death with one of these empty boxes. So when we think of it that way, considering that it could have been filled with death, can we also say then that these empty containers are a blessing? Does that make sense? I can tell you another, somebody said, a kid just said, nope. I want the present. I want something good. I love that. No. That is so awesome. I can tell you another instance where an empty container actually turned out to be a blessing. It's found in the Gospel of Mark, chapter 16. Starting in verse 1, it says, when the Sabbath was past, Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James, and Salome bought spices so that they might go and anoint him, meaning Jesus' body. Very early on the first day of the week, when the sun had risen, they went to the tomb. And they were saying to one another, who will roll away the stone for us from the entrance of the tomb? And looking up, they saw that the stone had been rolled back. It was very large. And entering the tomb, they saw a young man sitting on the right side, dressed in a white robe, and they were alarmed. And he said to them, do not be alarmed. You seek Jesus of Nazareth, who was crucified. He has risen. he is not here. See the place where they laid him. But go, tell his disciples and Peter that he is going before you to Galilee. There you will see him, just as he told you." It's interesting that they went to the tomb with a clear expectation and understanding of what that container held, even though the angel just reminded them, Jesus already told you that he would not be here. See, the tomb was a container for death. But as they arrived and saw the stone rolled away, concern set in, because their expectation of what they were going to find was not there. It just didn't seem that anything good in their minds in that moment could come from Jesus not being in that tomb. But then the angel spoke those words, "He has risen." Just think about the wash of realization that they experienced in this moment, that the disciples experienced when they were told. I have to wonder if their minds just rushed back to conversations that they'd had with Jesus so many times, conversations that they were constantly confused by, but that probably in this moment were starting to make sense. Like there was a conversation they had had just very recent before Jesus' arrest and crucifixion. John chapter 16 tells us this conversation that he had with his disciples. He said, starting in verse 16, "A little while and you will see me no longer. And again a little while and you will see me." So they were saying, what does he mean by a little while? We do not know what he is talking about. Jesus knew that they wanted to ask him, so he said to them, "Is this what you are asking yourselves, what I meant by saying, 'A little while and you will not see me, and again a little while and you will see me'? Truly, truly, I say to you, you will weep and lament, but the world will rejoice. You will be sorrowful, but your sorrow will turn into joy." Now, I can't tell you for sure what was going through all of their minds. I can't tell you which conversations with Jesus that their minds were rushing back to. But I can tell you that for them in that moment, it seemed like everything had been turned upside down. Actually, so much of their time with Jesus in his ministry, everything seemed to be constantly being turned upside down. I mean, just think of everything they had the privilege of witnessing firsthand with Jesus. Everything from his first miracle of just taking water and turning it to wine. Healing people that had been lame, had been crippled since birth, were standing up and walking. People that had never seen were having their sight given to them. The deaf being able to hear. They were seeing him cast demons out of people just by speaking. They had even seen him bring people back to life from death. See, prior to Jesus' arrival on earth, these kinds of things did not happen. And so for Jesus' friends and family, having the privilege of seeing all of these things firsthand, in their minds, he was turning the world upside down. Jesus was doing everything, though, in actuality, not to turn the world upside down, but to turn it right side up. I don't know if that makes sense when I say it that way. I mean, Jesus is looking at the original design his Father had. The way that his Father had laid out the original plan in creation. And that was that we his people, his creation, that we would live a life that was free of hurt, free of sorrow, free of anguish, free of sickness, certainly free of death. God had desired for us to live lives that were full of joy. He wanted us to live lives that were fulfilled. The problem was that sin had entered the picture because of a choice. Sin had corrupted the original design. Jesus' time on earth, including his death and resurrection, was him offering a way for there to be a great reset, for brokenness to return to wholeness, for sickness to be able to return to health, and for death to be able to return to life. That's what these boxes represent, certainly. They're not meant to be gifts. We can look at these and understand that these would represent tombs or graves. I know the expectation would certainly be different, but there would be expectations nonetheless. If I approach these very lovely packages, I have an expectation that they contain something lovely inside. And I'm disappointed when that does not follow through the way I thought it would. The same way as I approach a tomb, I expect that tomb contains death. It is what it is intended for. It's what it's meant for. As they approached the tomb of Jesus, they expected Jesus' body to be there. The fact that Jesus' tomb was empty is actually an amazing gift, because that empty tomb means that death lost its hold. Yes, all of us will die. That is part of life. We are going to go through hard things in this life. We're going to experience sickness, disease, brokenness, hurt. But death is not the end. The reality is that, yes, all of us will die, but in reality, if someone ever came and reopened our grave, they would not find us. They will find an empty shell. But prior to Jesus' death on the cross and resurrection from the tomb, the grave had a hold over us. Prior to King Jesus, tombs remained full, not empty. Prior to King Jesus, the cross was only an instrument of death and torture. Prior to King Jesus, a crown of thorns was purely a symbol of hurt and humiliation. The enemy's plans have always been exactly counter to the plans of God. Where God created beauty, the enemy, who had no ability to create, took God's creation and twisted and corrupted it. Where God spoke words of encouragement and direction and order, the enemy whispered words of fear and chaos. Where God breathed life, the enemy worked to constantly instill death. I mean, even when we just think about those elements of the crucifixion, they were actually elements that the enemy could not create. He could only take and distort. The cross, that was once a living tree, a tree being an amazing symbol of life. But cut down, shaped into rough boards, turned into one of the cruelest forms of death and torture ever invented. Or the title king, a title meant for honor and awe, a title of respect, especially for the one who would save all of mankind. The enemy taking that title and twisting it. The soldiers making it into a sign to put over the head of Jesus on the cross as an accusation of subversion and revolution. the crown, a symbol of heavenly majesty, turned into a cruel and ugly instrument of thorns, intended to humiliate and hurt. The saddest thing about all of those realities is not the realities themselves. The saddest thing is that us as people, for centuries, literally from the beginning of time, have grown to be accustomed to those things seeing beauty turn into ashes. We as man and woman have grown accustomed to that being our normal life. That is what's so heartbreaking. And as Jesus, hanging on that cross, breathed his last breath, for a moment it seemed like the world would just keep moving in that same direction. The same direction it had moved since sin entered the picture. As he died on that cross, people began to walk away saying, well, I thought that he was the one. But on that first Easter Sunday, a realization quickly began to take hold that has continued to spread around the world for the last 2,000 years. That the world was no longer upside down. The thing that we had grown accustomed to was made right side up by our Savior. Where's Lindsay? There you are. You can go ahead and open that gift. I'll explain what that is because it's going to be too hard for people to see it from where you are. What's inside that little box is actually, it's a necklace. And it holds those symbols of the crucifixion. Symbols the enemy wanted to be symbols that would instill fear and loathing. But as only God can do, they were turned into beauty and inspiration. Lindsay, if I could ask you to do one more thing, I'm going to have you just come right up front over here. And it's hard to see because that wall is black, but there's actually a black sheet that is hanging over there. I'm going to invite the band to come up, and they're going to play this final song, but that should come off there pretty easily. If it doesn't, and you make what's under that fall to the ground, we're all going to ridicule. So just no, it should just slide off. But if you want to go ahead and pull that down. As you all have seen over this last few weeks, as we've focused on this Easter series, thank you, Lindsay. We've had this symbolic reminder of what Christ did for us. My brother-in-law, Peter, which I think he's here to the end of this service somewhere. I don't know where, but if you're in here, Peter, thank you. He painted that for us. And the thing is, we waited till yesterday to paint it. He actually traveled here, and he spent the entire day painting that. And you say, man, that was we waited a long time to do it, but we needed to. Because Friday, if you were here for our Good Friday service, you know that what we did as part of that service was we had these cards. And everybody that was here, you wrote something on that card, something that was hurting, something that was breaking you down, that was causing you pain, anguish, fear, grief, anger, whatever it was. And then as we left here, we went outside and we had some burn pits going, and we burned those cards together. And then yesterday morning, we collected those ashes. And Peter, as he was painting the crown of thorns, he incorporated those ashes into that paint. We wanted to do that because anytime you invite a friend or a family member to come here with you, we want you to be able to show them that painting. To say, my hurts went into that crown of thorns. My hurts were taken on by the King of Life. My hurts were absorbed by Jesus. This painting serves as a reminder of what Jesus has done for us, what he secured for us, not just for a moment, but for all eternity. we gather together today to worship the King of life, the King who has taken what was upside down and made it right side up. Let's sing this song.